Hi everyone, it's Charlene with Tranquil Tuesdays, and today I'm going to talk about herbal tea. What I'm really going to tell you is herbal teas are not real teas. Herbal teas are something else. But first, before we go into any of that, I'm going to make some herbal drink, tasan. I'm going to make a Korean barley tea. I mean, it says tea on the package, but you're going to learn why that's not actually accurate. Anyways, so I have this packet. It's just roasted barley. Just gonna put it in here. Take some boiling water, put it in, and just let it sit. It's like really the easiest thing in the world. Making herbal tisans, infusions, drinks is a lot easier than making tea. Anyways, so why are herbal teas not actually tea? Because all tea must come from the same plant. And anything that's not from that plant is not a tea, technically. So barley, not the tea plant. Chamomile, not the tea plant. What's another really popular? Mint, also not the tea plant. So all those things I just listed are herbal tisans, infusions, drinks, but they're definitely not actually technically tea. So let's learn a little bit more about the tea plants. We have a picture here of the tea plants. Okay, great. This is a wonderful poster gifted to me by a dear friend, Christine Ho, Dr. Christine Ho, who helped on the last video. Here is a picture, a rendering of the Camellia sinensis plant, and that is the tea plant. Thank you. We have a mysterious stagehand. So the Camellia sinensis. So the genus of the plant is Camellia, and the species is sinensis. And if you know anything about Latin, you know that sinensis, sin, is the Latin word for China or Chinese. So like sinology is the study of Chinese, or sinology is the study of China, and a sinophile, someone who's like a huge China fan. So as you have learned, I think we talked about it already, that the origin of tea is China. That's where the first tea plants were found, and that's where it has the longest recorded tea cultivation and history of tea appreciation. That historical knowledge is embedded in the scientific Latin name of the actual tea plant, Camellia sinensis. So the camellia, the Chinese camellia. Okay. So if you know about botanical namings, there's a lot of different categories. And so all tea must come from the Camellia sinensis plant. And within the Camellia sinensis plant, there are actually two main varietals. I think I'm actually okay to start pouring out my barley drink. Yeah, we're gonna want a little tea before we talk about varietals. I mean, not tea, herbal drink. So there are two main varietals within the tea plant. It is Camellia sinensis, which, yes, I just said the same word twice. So sinensis is not only the species of the tea plant, but it's also one of the main varietals. And the other main varietal is Assamica. And that also reflects the fact that the oldest tea plants and the origin of tea is that has been discovered is in southwest China, Yunnan, and that has the border with northeast India, Assam. So Assamica, which sounds a lot like Assam, the province of India, is the name of that varietal. And the leaves there tend to be very big and broad, which are very distinctive to pu'er tea. But the great majority of other tea, grown around the world, grown in China, drinking everywhere, is Camellia sinensis. So that is the main varietal that most people are drinking tea of. And then within that varietal, there are thousands of cultivars. Okay, I don't know if it's still a little bit hot. I'm gonna wait to drink. So like I said, there's thousands of cultivars. And what is a cultivar? A cultivar just means a cultivated variety. Cultivated variety, cultivar. You can kind of hear the word, right? So that means that is a type of tea leaf that has been bred, grown, manipulated by humans. So before we talk more about that, I think an easy way to think about this, I always tell people, is think about tomatoes. You know, like within tomatoes, right? There's like beefsteak tomatoes, Roma tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, and they're all different types of tomatoes, but they're all tomatoes. So I like to think of that as an analogy to understand all the different types of cultivars of tea that are all from the tea plant, but different cultivars of the tea plant. And so why are people breeding different cultivars? And the main reason is they are either customizing the plant to grow better in their terroir, the region where they're growing it, that's the environment, the soil, or they're trying to grow a plant with a specific outcome. Like they want a smaller leaf, a bigger leaf, a leaf that has whatever character, you know, a little more waxy, a little less waxy. Just all the different characteristics that they think will impact the flavor of the finished tea. One thing that I should talk about the tea plant is it needs to grow in a subtropical region. So it grows in about 30 something provinces in China, I think. I don't remember the exact number. I'll put it in a link below. But it grows in subtropical regions and it thrives in high altitudes. So you might know some of the most famous tea growing regions and terroirs are mountains. And you can grow, there's plenty of people who are growing tea now not on altitudes, but that is historically what has been the more prized tea terroirs and results in a more prized tea flavor. Okay, so just a few more things about, it's very nice, but I wanted to tell you just about tea and herbals. So one of the main reasons that I think people, I mean, there's many reasons to enjoy different herbal tisanes and infusions, flavor being one of them. But another huge distinction between herbal infusions and tea is all tea has caffeine in it. It's in the tea plant. And if you want a hot beverage drunk in a tea-like manner, but you don't want any caffeine, your safest bet is to drink an herbal drink. And I drink a lot of herbal drinks. I love them. I mean, I'm drinking this barley one. One that I make frequently for myself is I boil ginger and I add some turmeric. Sometimes I'll add some apple cider vinegar, which then becomes more like a drink than a infusion. But anyways, I drink that a lot. Another one that I like to drink a lot is something I learned from Zanzibar, where you just take a lot of spices and boil them. So I think it's cinnamon, clove, cardamom, and pepper. And you just put them into a pot of water and boil it for a while, and then you can steep it out, and it's delicious. But it's definitely not a tea because there's no tea leaves in that. And then another thing that I like to make is also Korean inspired, and it's you boil ginger pieces, you add some cinnamon, and you add a dried jujube, and it's delicious. So I will put the recipes for all those herbal infusions in a link below, so you can make those for yourself at home if you wanted a hot herbal drink that wasn't tea. And there is a lot of questions and information and misinformation about tea and caffeine. That will be a whole other video, maybe more than one video, but I will put some links below of things I have written about in the past about tea and caffeine. So one last thing I want to say before I leave is like we said, all tea comes from the tea plant. If it doesn't come from the tea plant, it's not a tea. But the other important thing to know is that you could make white, green, black, oolong tea all from the same cultivar. There's no such thing as like a green tea plant or a black tea plant. All tea comes from the same plant, and it's how you manipulate the oxidation levels as you're processing the tea after it's been picked, and that's what determines whether or not it's a white tea, green tea, black tea, oolong tea. We can talk about that in a whole other video. Also, I'll put a link below of just a basic rundown of what I just talked about in terms of the different categories of tea. But I hope for sure now you are very clear on the difference between an herbal tea, not a real tea, an herbal drink, herbal infusion, herbal tisane, and tea. And what makes tea? It has to come from the same plant. All right, thanks a lot for watching. If you have any questions, leave a comment below.